And one time I was helping Sarah with the dishes, and I turned around to grab a towel, and there was just a woman standing right behind me. I dropped the glass I was holding, and glass went everywhere.
Welcome to Tell Me a Ghost Story, the late night call-in podcast where we delve into the world of the supernatural and explore the eerie and unexplained. I'm your host, Michelle Newman. This podcast features true stories from our callers that will send shivers down your spine and leave you questioning the existence of the afterlife. So grab a cozy blanket, turn down the lights.
And I walked past the kitchen, and I swear to God, there was someone standing there.
I only saw her for like a split second out of the corner of my eye.
It just feels like a person standing in the kitchen, like the physical feeling of a body standing too close.
So this episode's a little different from our normal call-in format. Today we have multiple people, including me, sharing ghost stories from all one particular place. Apartment 3F. Apartment 3F was a 3-bedroom place in the Mission District of San Francisco, and it was the heart of our friend group in our late 20s. A home away from home. Anytime you needed a place to crash, you always knew there was a room at Sarah's place. It was the hub. That being said, no one who lived there would ever confirm there was a ghost. But years later, multiple people have finally realized we'd all been experiencing similar things. We just never talked about it until now.
Hey, this is Marcus. I used to date someone who lived in 3F, and one night I'm staying over and I get up to use the bathroom, and I walk past the kitchen, and there's just this figure standing there like a woman. I could see her outline, and I froze, man. I just stood there staring, and she was staring back at me, I think. It was dark, but I could feel it, feel her looking at me. Then I blinked, and she was gone. We broke up a few months later for unrelated reasons, but honestly, that place creeped me out so much I was kind of relieved.
Hey Michelle, this is Rebecca. So yes, I did experience a ghost in Sarah's place a few times, In fact, I think, I don't know, maybe I got it as a visitor. I got it the most, maybe, but every time I swear I'd go in there to hang out. I'd see something in the kitchen, a shadow, a figure, something. And one time I was helping Sarah with the dishes, and I turned around to grab a towel, and there was just a woman standing right behind me. I dropped the glass I was holding, and glass went everywhere.
My experience with the gray woman happened one night when I was coming home from a comedy show. It was about 2 or 3 in the morning, and I'll be honest, I had been drinking. Sarah and her roommate Alex were already asleep. I walked in, trying to be quiet. I locked the door behind me. I headed to the kitchen to get some water before bed. And as I turned around, I came face to face with a woman, my height. We were eye level, with big frizzy gray hair, gray sweater, gray skirt, sensible shoes. Everything about her was gray. I jumped back. Honestly, I think I may have startled her too. And blip, she was gone. There was no fear, no sadness, just, I think, surprise that I'd seen her. I went to bed thinking, what the hell was that? And when I woke up the next day, I told Alex and Sarah. And that's when they finally told me what had been going on in their apartment. And honestly, still to this day, even after doing this podcast, that's the only time I've seen a full-bodied apparition.
Hi, this is Sarah. I'm the one that actually lived in apartment 3F, and Michelle asked me to call in even though I don't really like talking about this. I lived there 8 years. The rent was amazing. The location was perfect. And that's really why I stayed despite everything. I no longer live there, which is why I feel okay talking about it a little bit now. It started maybe a month after I moved in, and I'd wake up in the middle of the night feeling like someone was watching me. You know that feeling where you just know someone's in the room even when your eyes are closed? And I'd open my eyes and she'd just be standing there at the foot of the bed, just standing there in the dark, staring at me. At first I panicked. Turn on the light, she'd be gone, but it kept happening 2-3 times a week. Then it got worse. She started getting closer and standing beside the bed. And one night I woke up and I could feel the mattress moving, and I could feel the weight of her pressing down on the other side of the bed, and I was too terrified to move, too terrified to look. That happened more than once. There are other things that she's done that I really just don't want to talk about. I think if you give these things attention, it makes it worse. And I've tried so hard not to feed it. But so many people saw her, especially in the kitchen. It's hard to pretend it didn't happen now without gaslighting myself. Friends, guests, people subletting when I was away. Everyone sees her at least once. Also, it's kind of weird. I kind of got used to her after a while. She never tried to hurt me. She was just there watching.
Hey, this is Alex. I was Sarah's roommate for years until we both moved out of that space. And yeah, okay, I'd heard it was haunted before I moved in. And I was like, whatever, I don't believe this stuff. And plus the room was huge, the rent was cheap. So I was like, sign me up. But then all the weird stuff started to happen, like my jewelry. I had this necklace stand on my dresser, right? And I'd come home from work and necklaces would be on the ground. Not all of them, just like one or two. And I think, okay, well, maybe I bumped it in the morning and didn't notice. But then it would happen again and again. And I started actually thinking that there was a draft, or like when I closed the door in the morning, I was shaking things, but no. And then I started to see her out of the corner of my eye, standing in the kitchen, just like everybody says. At first it was just like a gray mass. Then one night I woke up and she was in my room, and I could see the figure of a woman just standing there by my closet, watching me sleep. And I was like, okay. And I'd wake up and she'd be there, different spots in the room, but always just standing there staring. And my jewelry kept ending up on the floor, and I was getting so fed up because I wasn't sleeping well and I was jumpy all the time. And after Michelle saw her that night, I was just feeling spooked. I'd moved to San Francisco to enjoy myself, not to be haunted by some sad lady. So one night, I woke up and she was starting her shenanigans again. She was standing at the foot of my bed, and I just snapped. I straight up yelled at her, and I was like, enough! Get out! This is my room. You need to leave this apartment right now. I felt so stupid. If you had seen me, I felt so, like if someone had actually seen me yelling at the air. I felt so stupid, but I was so tired and so annoyed. and so done with being scared in my own room. And you know what? It worked. The air changed, the room felt lighter, and she never came back after that. And honestly, I was never bothered by her again. And the activity went way down. Sarah still doesn't like to talk about it. But, you know, I think you just have to stand up to them sometimes. Like, this was our space, you know? When we both moved out of there in 2017, I still miss it. And I think the ghost kind of added to it. Because it was just like this incredible time with our friends and an incredible place to live. And the Gray Lady was a part of that.
Thank you, Alex, Sarah, and anonymous friends who contributed to this episode. I went to the apartment one more time when Sarah and Alex were packing up to move. We all kind of stood in the kitchen together, you know, or so many of us had seen her. I was never able to research any weird history about the building to help explain who or what the Gray Lady was. The folklore about Gray Ladies varies widely. From the mythical Graii of Greek mythology, who share a single eye and tooth, to local ghost stories of heartbroken women, which can be interchangeable with the Lady in White stories. What I find fascinating, specifically the Lady in Gray, can be tied to teachers and nurses. These figures are often associated with specific locations, like former schools or hospitals. The most famously known haunting of a gray-clad woman is the Gray Lady of Hampton Court in the UK. She's reported to be the restless spirit of Sybil Penn, who served as nurse to 4 Tudor monarchs. She nursed Queen Elizabeth I during her battle with smallpox in 1562. And while Elizabeth survived, Lady Sybil contracted the disease. She died and was buried in an impressive tomb near Hampton Church. In 1829, the church was rebuilt and her tomb was moved during the renovations. An event which is thought to have triggered the hauntings of the Gray Lady at the palace where Lady Sybil lived and worked centuries earlier. One story claimed that shortly after her tomb was disturbed, strange noises were heard through the wall of Hampton Court, which sounded like someone working on an old-fashioned spinning wheel. A search investigating these sounds revealed a previously undiscovered room, which, of course, contained an antique spinning wheel untouched for centuries. Just like the one in Hampton Court, our Gray Lady of Apartment 3F never hurt anyone. She just wanted to be seen, and maybe to let us know she was still doing her rounds. A little too aggressively in some cases. But in hindsight, if this is the case, those sensible shoes I saw make sense. That's all we have this week, folks. Do you have a ghost story? Call 701-484-2666. That's 701-484-2666. Or go to tellmeaghoststory.com and leave your story there. Thank you to all the callers who left messages this week. And as always, I'm your host, Michelle Newman, signing off. See you next week.
Macabine.